Hello everyone, well today I thought that I would give you a quick whiz around my little sitting room. I didn't really want to do another cooking video because I've done lots of those lately and even I'm getting bored of them, so I thought that I would do something else. So when I decorated this room I wanted it to be very light and bright, and I always use the same colour again and again, which is called White Tie by Farrow & Ball. And I like this colour because it's a really cream, warm white. In the winter when there's a harsh light outside, it's always warm and just feels inviting, and it's hard to get that with a white, so it's a really nice white. And one of the things that I liked most about this room was the curved wall, which you can see it curves all along the back here, and there is a curved door which is really special here, and also another curved door there. So there's a symmetrical pair of curved doors which I think is really charming. Now this painting is by a Cotswold artist called Rupert Acre. I commissioned it last year. I used to live in this village called Blockley in the Cotswolds, and this is a scene from there. And I just like Rupert's work because it's so impressionistic, but when you're far away you can see the whole composition, and I really liked this use of colour here. And actually a fun fact about this painting is that there is another painting underneath of two 18th century ladies that I had made about 7 years ago, and I decided to cover them up with this, so they're hiding underneath. This table here is a multifunctional table. Sometimes I use it for dining, but mostly I just use it to have books on. I bought this from eBay and it was a dark wood table and I painted it myself. There's actually a video on my Instagram of me painting this table if you want to see that. You'll notice around the room that I do like dogs, little dog figurines. I've got quite a few little pairs of them. These are Staffordshire dogs and these are my favourite ones in the room. This is the china closet that I did a video about a few weeks ago. It's not looking as neat today, so I'll keep the door closed, but you can see the video on my IGTV. This is a little bureau, and I want to paint it, but I'm a bit scared about doing it because it's such a complex piece. There's lots of little ridges, little cupboards, drawers, and I think that it's really a risk. I might mess it up, so I am debating whether or not to paint it, but I think that eventually I would like to ebonize it. That means paint it black or paint it in a nice rich red, because this room is very light and the tones are muted, and I think that black and red really lift the whole room and just stop it from looking too sugary and sweet. So I think that's what I might do eventually. Now I always think that if you want a nice classic room, the TV always ruins it and can be a distraction. So people always laugh at me, but I always have the smallest TV possible in my room because I just don't want it to take up too much space and I don't want it to be too obvious in the room, so I always have a small one. Now the thing about this room, and actually all of my rooms, is that nothing is expensive because I'm not a wealthy person, I'm only young, and I simply wouldn't be able to afford expensive things. So everything in here is things that I've made myself or things that I've bought and painted up, like this bookcase here, which was from eBay. It cost about £50 and I painted it. So everything in my rooms are all inexpensive things that I've had to make do and mend with, and actually I'm quite glad about that because it means that my things tell a story. A good example of that is this skirted table, and one of my biggest inspirations, Colfax and Fowler, use a lot of skirted tables, so it's a really simple and cheap way of having a nice bit of furniture in the home. And this is just a very simple table that I bought very cheaply, and you cover it with a lovely bit of fabric and it looks expensive. And also, as you just saw, it's a good place for storage. So this is a Colfax and Fowler fabric, and it has a trim on, and it looks a lot more expensive than it actually was. The most expensive thing was the fabric, and even that was discounted. I'm a cheap person. So on here I've done a little vignette of a few of my favourite things. I do like these little boxes, and I really like porcelain flowers, and there is an artist called Vladimir Kanevsky who does the most incredible porcelain flowers, but they are out of my budget, so this one is my own version that I had commissioned that was a lot cheaper, but it's still nice. Now, you'll notice on Instagram that I never post this part of the room because this wall is completely empty, and I do have something to fill it with, but it's in progress. So you've seen my other gallery wall in my last house, and I'm planning to do something similar on this wall. I actually have this book here, which is a book about floral botanicals, and it came with a set of 36 prints, and they're all from this book, so they're with the framer now, and they are this size, so there'll be 36 of them on the wall in quite large frames, so that should look quite nice when it's done. This little figurine is one of the very first things that I ever bought about 9 years ago, and she's called Simone, after one of my friends, and every time I move house and unpack her, it's like welcome home, and it's always nice to see Simone. This side table was something that I painted as well. I just thought that a lot of the stuff was cream in here, so I wanted to do something different, and so I just painted it white, which you can see here, and then put a green wash over the top. And this is a little pineapple plant that my sister got for me for my birthday. And normally I'm hopeless with plants, but I can never keep them alive, but this one seems to be quite happy just with a little bit of water every few days, and it has definitely grown. One of the things that I like is nice colourful lamps, and I love beasts and bugs and flowers, so a lot of the things I buy feature those. And I got these lamps from India Jane. They weren't that expensive, but I think they're so pretty. And this one is also from India Jane with these birds on. And I just think these lamps provide a little pop of colour. You'll notice around the room I have books everywhere. I really love books, especially coffee table books, so you can flick through, get lots of inspiration. I also have a lot of magazines. I am a bit of a hoarder when it comes to collecting magazines, and one day I am going to just cull them all and throw them out, but for now I like to have them. Simple pleasures. These chairs are one of my own little projects that I did. They were a dark cherry wood with an awful blue fabric on them, and I stripped them off, repainted them and recovered them. And I've already recovered them twice, and I think that I'm going to do it again. I'd really like to do them in a washed grey with a check print on them. So I think that's what I'm going to do next. Same with this sofa. This was from a house sale. It was dark wood with a tapestry fabric on, and I stripped it off and recovered it. That was the first thing that I actually recovered, and it was quite difficult when you're not really knowing what to do. This is a little picture of me by my friend Thomas Winter, who is on Instagram, and he did this as a gift for me. These two pictures here are of Cambridgeshire, and they were also a gift from one of my friends after I helped to decorate her house in Cheltenham. I like to collect auction catalogues, so these are my little collection of auction catalogues here. These ones are the most recent ones from Mario Boata sale. Mario Boata, I don't know if that's the way you say that. And also, I forgot to mention, this is quite an interesting story here. These two pictures are a mystery gift. About 7 years ago, I was living in Barcelona for work, and it was the time when I just started my Instagram account. And one day I was in my room at the hotel where I was staying, and I had a call from reception, and they said, "We have a little delivery for you." So they brought it up, and on a huge luggage trolley there was a massive crate, a wooden crate, and inside it was filled with pictures, ornaments, and other little antiques. These are also from the same thing. And there was a note saying, "I follow you on Instagram, I thought you would like these gifts." So to this day, I don't know who they're from. There was a note in there that didn't give any clue. All I know is that they're from Paris. So if you're watching, thank you for these gifts, and they're still with me now, and I love them. So thank you for watching this little tour. I just really wanted to show you that you don't need to spend a lot of money to have a nice room. You can just make do and mend with what you can afford. Everything in this room has a story and has history and is part of my life, and I think that's really nice. It's nicer than having just going to a shop and picking up something because you can afford to. It's much nicer to be able to collect things over time and live with them. So thank you for watching, take care, and I'll see you again soon.